After watching Reacher Season 3, I truly fear Jack Reacher is over Roscoe. Jack Reacher has always been a man on the move. A loner, a drifter, a human wrecking ball with a code of justice so rigid it cuts like steel. And yet, through the dust and chaos of Reacher's brutal lifestyle, there was always one constant many fans held out hope for: Roscoe Conklin. After Season 1 of Reacher, Roscoe wasn't just another woman Reacher had a fling with, she felt different. She was different. But now, after watching Season 3, it's painfully clear Jack Reacher may truly be over Roscoe. And honestly, that realization stings more than a headbutt from Reacher himself. The beginning of something special. When we first met Roscoe in Season 1, she wasn't just some pretty face in the Margrave Police Department. Played with depth and fire by Willa Fitzgerald, Roscoe was tough, smart, grounded, and totally unafraid to go toe-to-toe with Reacher. Their chemistry wasn't just physical, though that was undeniable. It was emotional, vulnerable, and surprisingly tender. She saw past Reacher's imposing physique into the soul of a man battered by his past, and he trusted her in a way that felt like a crack in his armor. Their romance was brief, but powerful. When Roscoe said, "If you wander back this way, give me a call," fans clung to those words like a promise. Maybe, just maybe, Reacher could be more than a lone avenger. Maybe Roscoe would be the reason he'd settle down, or at least stay a little longer next time. But next time never came. And after Season 3, it feels like it never will. Season 2's cold silence wasn't just narrative, it was telling. The warning signs started in Season 2, when Roscoe wasn't just absent, she wasn't even mentioned. In a show that doesn't waste time with emotional exposition, some fans gave the omission a pass. But in retrospect, that silence speaks volumes. Reacher didn't check in, didn't call, didn't even reference the woman who helped him crack his first major conspiracy and heal a little from his brother's death. Instead, Season 2 threw Reacher into the middle of a revenge-laced military reunion, heavy on violence and low on emotional connections. That's the thing about Reacher. Each season, like each book, is meant to stand alone. But still, the complete erasure of Roscoe felt like a deliberate decision. One that made fans quietly worry. Was Roscoe already a memory? Season 3, new case, new woman, no looking back. Now we're 3 seasons deep into Reacher, and Season 3 didn't just fail to bring Roscoe back, it doubled down on her absence. This time, Reacher found himself drawn into another complex web of corruption, military secrets, and high-stakes danger. But he also found a new connection, one that might finally sever the lingering emotional ties to Roscoe for good. Enter the Season 3 female lead, a sharp, capable intelligence agent who meets Reacher on equal ground. Like Roscoe, she's no damsel. But unlike Roscoe, she exists in Reacher's world of espionage and shadow warfare. Their bond forms not in the quiet stillness of a small town, but in the chaos of operations, gunfire, and covert missions. She's a woman built for Reacher's lifestyle, not someone trying to pull him out of it. By the end of Season 3, the writing is on the wall. Reacher is moving forward emotionally and narratively. Roscoe? She's a ghost. A chapter he's closed, folded, and filed away, like the countless towns he's passed through. Why Roscoe mattered? Here's the thing, Roscoe was never just a love interest. She represented something vital in the Reacher universe, the idea that maybe Reacher could have a life beyond violence. That maybe, underneath the stoic silence and savage fists, there was a man who longed for stability. Roscoe believed in him. She humanized him. And for one fleeting moment, she gave him something to fight for, not just against. Her removal from the narrative feels like the franchise closing the door on that entire possibility. Reacher isn't softening. He's not opening up. He's doubling down on the myth, the lone wolf, the unstoppable machine, the man who leaves everything and everyone behind. That makes sense from a creative standpoint. Lee Child's books thrive on that formula. But in television, where arcs evolve and emotional payoffs matter, it's hard not to feel disappointed. Because without Roscoe, Reacher loses a key contrast that made him interesting, his capacity for intimacy. The Reacher-Roscoe gap is now too wide. Even if the show wanted to bring Roscoe back, how could it? Reacher has changed. Season 3's version of him is colder, more efficient, and even more detached than the version who first walked into Margrave. His new relationships are transactional, mission-based. Emotional closure? That's not in the playbook anymore. And Roscoe, if she's continued living and growing in her own world, wouldn't make sense alongside this hardened version of Reacher. She deserves more than being a nostalgic cameo. If she returns only to be rejected or used as a plot device, it would tarnish what she meant in Season 1. That's why the show may never bring her back, and that's why it hurts even more. The show's commitment to the book's formula. Of course, this is all by design. The Reacher TV show closely follows the blueprint laid out by Lee Child's novels, where each story introduces new characters, new settings, and yes, new women. Reacher is a rolling stone by nature. His connections don't last. His morality is rigid, but his relationships are fleeting. It's part of what makes him who he is. But the difference is, the show's Roscoe was more than her book counterpart. She was built up as something lasting. A fan favorite. A possible future. The show teased us with the possibility of a recurring emotional thread, only to rip it away in Season 3. Now it feels like that hope was misplaced. Reacher's heart isn't just closed off, it's armored, bolted shut, and buried under layers of tactical gear and unresolved trauma. Should Roscoe come back? Would it even work? It's tempting to wish for a surprise Roscoe return in a future season, some emergency that pulls Reacher back to Margrave, or a twist that puts her in danger. But that scenario feels increasingly implausible. For Roscoe to return, the show would need to soften Reacher, to show growth, to acknowledge that despite everything, he did care, and maybe still does. But Season 3 offers no indication that kind of vulnerability is coming. Reacher isn't just moving forward, he's actively scrubbing away the past. If Roscoe were to return now, it would feel like trying to light a fire that's already gone out. The chemistry might still be there, but the context has changed too much. Their worlds no longer align. What this means for Reacher's future? The tragic thing is, without Roscoe or any recurring emotional anchor, Reacher risks becoming less human. The show may continue to thrill with brutal fight scenes, sharp dialogue, and twisty plots. But emotionally, it's treading water. Characters like Roscoe gave Reacher depth. Without them, it risks becoming a cold procedural, no matter how compelling the action gets. Even in the midst of violence and vengeance, viewers want to believe their heroes feel something. That they're not just machines with muscles. Right now, Reacher is heading down a path that could make him unstoppable, but also unrelatable. And losing Roscoe might be the first real casualty of that transformation. Final verdict. Roscoe was the heart Reacher didn't know he needed. Season 3 of Reacher is a triumph in many ways. The action is tighter, the stakes higher, and the writing more assured. But its emotional void is impossible to ignore, especially for fans who remember Season 1's beating heart, Roscoe. She wasn't just a character. She was a chance, a glimmer of something more. And now, watching Reacher mow down bad guys with even less hesitation and even fewer emotional ties, it's hard not to mourn what's been lost. So yes, after watching Reacher Season 3, I truly fear Jack Reacher is over Roscoe. Not because she wasn't worthy, but because this version of him may no longer be capable of what she offered: connection, softness, home. And if that's the cost of making Reacher even more legendary, it's a price I'm not